Unlock the secret to face a problem in just 12 minutes. Welcome to the Polymath Podcast. Unleash your infinite curiosity. Today, we're delving into the key insights from the book Problem Solving 101 by Ken Watanabe. Let's embark on this journey of knowledge together. Introduction. Ever faced a problem and felt like finding a solution is taking too long? It happens to all of us, whether at work, in our personal life, or even when solving puzzles. But don't worry, improving your problem-solving skills is simpler than you think. In this summary, we'll explore some helpful tricks to bid farewell to that frustrating feeling when you can't seem to find the answer. In the upcoming chapters, you'll discover how to break down problem-solving into just 4 easy steps. Plus, you'll pick up useful tips like the easiest first step to solve any problem, no matter how big it is. Why having a yes-no tree is important. How to achieve even your biggest dream. Section 1. Break your problem down to its core. Ever felt like your problem is just too big to handle? Whether it's a tough English exercise or feeling stuck between two friends, we all face situations where we struggle to find a solution, which can be really stressful. But that's why there are 4 simple steps to solving problems. These steps help us tackle any problem, starting with breaking it down to its main parts. To do this, you need to understand what your problem is really about. Let's say you're struggling with math grades. Instead of immediately giving up other activities like playing soccer to study more, you should first figure out which parts of math are causing the most trouble. Maybe it's just geometry that's dragging your grades down while you're fine with algebra and fractions. If that's the case, you don't need to quit soccer. Instead, focus your study time on geometry. But before you start studying, take another step and break down your math problem even further. Figure out exactly what part of geometry is confusing you the most. Is it understanding the Pythagorean theorem or calculating the area of a trapezoid? This extra analysis will help you pinpoint your weakest area, making it easier to solve your problem. Once you've identified the core of your problem, it's time to move on to the next step, actually solving it. Section 2. Understand why your problem exists. And once you've found the main part of your problem, it's time to figure out why it's a problem. Basically, what's causing you to struggle with it. This is the second step in our 4-step problem-solving method, and you can start by making a list of all the possible reasons. For example, let's say there's a kids' band named Apples and Oranges. They perform concerts at the local school, but nobody comes. To solve this, the band can list all the reasons why this might be happening. Maybe they're not promoting the concerts well, or maybe the audience doesn't like their music. Listing reasons is a good start, but it doesn't give clear answers. So the band can use a tool called a yes-no tree to test their ideas. This tool helps by asking simple yes or no questions. For Apples and Oranges, they might ask, do people know about our concerts? If the answer is no, they've found a big problem: lack of publicity. But if it's yes, they have more questions to answer. For instance, they might ask, if people know about the concert, did they come? If not, maybe it's because they don't like the music. If yes, they've found the problem, even if it's disappointing. But if the people who knew about the concert did come, they can ask further questions, like why fewer people attended the second concert. The yes-no tree helps dig deep into the problem and find answers to new questions. Section 3. Coming up with ideas and thinking them through. Now that you've finished the first 2 steps, breaking down your problem and figuring out why it's a problem, you're ready for the 3rd step, carefully analyzing everything to come up with the best solution. You can start by thinking about what information you need to understand the situation well. For example, let's go back to the Apples and Oranges situation. To understand why people weren't coming to their concerts, they asked students at their school in surveys and interviews. From this, they realized they needed better promotion and incentives. Once you've gathered and looked at all the information, you can start thinking about solutions. For apples and oranges, this meant advertising in the school newspaper and email, and considering options like radio ads and playing music in classrooms. They organized these ideas in a table, sorting them based on whether they increased awareness or enticed people to come. Apples and oranges wanted solutions that were effective and easy to do, so they filtered out ideas that didn't meet both criteria. For instance, playing in classrooms sounded good because it would reach many people, but it would also need a lot of effort. Since many students listened to the school radio, they decided that having announcements there would be the best choice. It was easy to do and would reach many people. So they made radio announcements a part of their plan. Section 4. Breaking down big dreams into smaller steps. Now that we've learned about problem-solving steps and seen how they work in real life, let's explore more situations where we can use these skills before moving on to the final step. We'll start with dreams because everyone has them, whether it's wanting to be a famous figure skater or getting into a good college. But sometimes our dreams seem impossible because we think they're too big or we doubt ourselves. But it doesn't have to be that way. You can achieve big dreams by breaking them into smaller, achievable goals. Start by making sure these goals are clear, possible, and tackled one by one. For instance, let's think about Eric, who dreams of directing big animated movies, but knows nothing about computer animation because he doesn't even own a computer. Instead of giving up, Eric can break his big dream into smaller steps. His first goal could be getting a computer, specifically an Apple I costing $600 within 6 months without borrowing money. This clear goal gives him something specific to work towards. Once you, like Eric, set a small and clear goal, you can figure out how to reach it. One way to start is by understanding the gap between where you are now and where you want to be. For Eric, this meant looking at his savings and income to see if he could afford the computer. After doing the math, he realized he was $248 short. In the next chapter, we'll see how Eric can close this gap, and you can do it too. Section 5. Making your ideas into a plan. When you find a hole in your favorite jeans, your first thought might be to sew it, right? Similarly, you can use a list of ideas to help you reach your dreams, just like using a needle and thread to fix your jeans. Like we saw with apples and oranges, you start by listing possible solutions and picking one as your main plan. For Eric, this could be saving money, asking for a raise, or hoping to win the lottery. But not all ideas are realistic, so he can make a logic tree, similar to the yes-no tree the band used. His tree might have 2 main branches, one for cutting spending and another for increasing income. From there, he can make more specific branches. Under cutting spending, he can list practical steps like buying fewer video games or eating out less. He'll trim away ideas like winning the lottery since they're not realistic. Then, he'll have a plan to buy the $600 computer in 6 months by earning more, selling games, and spending less. With this plan, Eric can move on to step 4, making it happen. Section 6. Making your plan happen. Now that you've pinpointed your problem, understood why it's an issue, and made a plan to solve it, it's time to take action. But before you start, you need to think about how to put your plan into action. Start by gathering information. For Eric, this means finding out how much he can sell his games for and tracking his spending. Then, he can compare the benefits of getting a second job versus selling his games to see which option makes more sense financially. Once he's done all this, it's time for step 4, putting his plan into action. And if you follow these steps, you can do the same. Just remember that making a plan is useless if you don't follow through with it properly. Also, be ready to change your plan if things don't go as expected. For example, if Eric can't sell his DVDs, he might need to find another way to make money, like walking dogs. Even if setbacks happen, remember that you can adjust your plan and keep trying until you succeed. And the same goes for you. And the last section, wrapping it up. Everyone deals with problems. Whether it's a tough math problem or a big life decision, problems come at us all the time. Sometimes it feels like we'll never find the answers. But that's not true. With a simple 4-step method, we can solve any problem easily. Just analyze the problem, understand why it's hard, and come up with solutions using tools like yes-no questions or logic trees. These tools help us find the right answers. Then, make a plan, and know that even if things don't go perfectly, you can still figure it out. Last but certainly not least, thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned for more exciting content. Be sure to explore our exclusive deals and discounts by clicking on the description below.